first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour. We're live from the Fox Chapel Racket Club in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, bringing you the 2026 Steel City Classic with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following local tournament sponsors, PNC, Delaney Auto Group, and Xenon Paddle. I'm Mike Rowley alongside the legend, Patty Hogan, bringing you a women's semifinal match between Danielle Baez and Rupali Hall versus Ellie Halbauer and Allison Morgan. Patty,
Mike.
welcome.
Mike.
We've been anxiously waiting for the start of this match, and I appreciate the flexibility you've shown here in our moving courts. And
Mike, it's thanks to Jay Koretsky and his software program, we have the ability to bounce around, which sometimes is necessitated during a paddle tournament. As you know,
right.
we have a matchup here that's similar to the NFL matchup going on right now. Mike, who's playing right now?
Well, we've got Ellie Halbauer and Allison Morgan. You see Allison Morgan at the top of your screen on the right-hand side, and they are serving to sides, and the player serving next to Allison Morgan, it's kind of confusing, is Rupali Hall. And then on our near court, on the left-hand side, with no cap on, is Daniela Baez, and we've got Ellie Halbauer. They're now moving over to the outside of the left hand with the stocking cap. So we're looking at I think, I like this pairing of, this is somewhat of a Halbauer and Morgan, not the traditional team that you hear with Morgan, but I think they played one tournament. Is that correct? Did they play in Chicago at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I think they've got 2 tournaments under their belt. And my reference to the NFL is there are some playoff games on this weekend in the NFL.
There isn't, is there?
And there's a match right now, a game going on where there's underdogs by 10 points you just mentioned to me, Mike. And
I think it's 10.5 points, yeah.
And the game's 17-all in the football game going on. But the reason we bring it up is here's Halbauer Morgan. Overwhelming favorites. They are the veteran team combining. They've played a couple other events. They're the tournament number 2 seed. Baez and Hall, really solid team. The tournament number 3 seeded team, but they're the experience that the near side team here. We see Ellie Halbauer in that pom pom hat in the ad court on the near side. There's Allison Morgan over there, the turquoise. I mean, they are the heavy favorites here. But you play the game because you never know, and the best chance, Baez and Hall have to beat them is right now, Mike, because it's pouring rain here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, as we saw in the match that we just called, this weather is a great equalizer, and we're going to see. I think the team that handles the weather the best, and not to get redundant, but this ball is skidding. I'd look to short, quick points, a lot more what I'd call winning opportunities and winners from the net, from the team at the net hitting the cutters.
Yeah, and Mike, that's Ellie Halbauer leading off the action, serving against that's Rupali Paul out of that deuce court. And we're off, Mike. You had asked about Halbauer and Morgan played 2 tournaments. They won the Medina event, beating Barrett and Middle in the finals there. And they got their second tour win of the year in Cleveland over Delmonico and Gebbia. So this is their third time they've teamed up, and they make a great team together, Mike.
Yeah, they do. You've got Halbauer she played on the tour. For a number of years. So her tennis pedigree is she's got quite a resume, and her paddle resume is not quite as equally as strong, but
yeah.
I think she got to was it the semifinals 2 years ago of nationals?
Yep, with Gabby Nicolescu. She turned pro tennis when she was 15 years old, Mike.
15. She grew up in the Cincinnati area.
Oh, yeah.
And Allison Morgan is the co-director at right around the corner from Exmoor here in Highland Park, Illinois, with their husband Adam, last year's national title champion.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about how difficult these conditions are for the players. How about for the umpires, Mike?
Yeah, poor
Dave
Dave
Nadeau.
Majedlik up in the chair. My man is. Hopefully, he's getting some hazard pay up there because it's raining and it's cold. You even see the paddle, the water flying off the paddle when Halbauer serves.
So, Mike, in the men's semis that we saw earlier, lots of crazy spins, and the speed that they can generate with their windups and their strength that they have as individuals. It's already, you can feel a very different paddle match underway here in the women's semis, and I think in that match it just became in that third set of the Nunes Salazar win in their semis over McNerney and Medics is what we're referring to. It was one service break in the third set, and then all of a sudden, Nunes and Salazar, got the spread they needed and pulled out that match in the third. Here, like this court looks unbelievably good, Mike. Right? And
yeah, I mean, it seems to me like the weather has abated, the rain has abated a little bit, but it's still, the court's still wet. We're going to be looking at somewhat sliding balls, and again, the team that handles it the best, and also the team that really starts to work. I'd like to see if any of the four players start developing that kind of aggressive overhead with cut, spin, kind of slash.
Yep, Daniela Baez serving, Mike, and that's Ellie Halbauer about to. Is she going to crack the return? What are we going to see out here in this match from Halbauer over there? We know she can pull the trigger forehand, two-handed backhand, but it's hard to do with these conditions, Mike.
Yeah, and I think that, the weather being, and you'll see that the ball is kind of sliding through the court, so it really it increases the pace of the ball, but it decreases the reaction time. So I think the returners have less of an advantage in this weather. They're more likely to hit, less pace, maybe a shorter backswing, a flatter swing, if they do choose to drive it at all.
And Baez had a nice little spin overhead there and handcuffed, forcing the error out of that deuce corner from Halbauer.
She's got a big serve too, big spinning serve.
Yeah, she's got a lot of skill. A lot of talent. I love that she's going for it. And, these Paul and Baez, Hall and Baez, they have nothing to lose in this match. This is a really fun opportunity for them is the way I see it for them. And the rain is something that, is it worth a game or two in the set against Morgan and Halbauer? I think it is.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least. And as we saw, giant advantage to the serving team. And you can see Daniela Baez, real good talent. She lives up in Stamford, Connecticut. She played college tennis, Arkansas Tech University. I like her going for that. She's got to find her range. I think the risk reward of going for it is well worth it now in the rain, right, Mike? With the overheads.
It really changes the way the players approach how, the shots and shot selections that they do execute or attempt to execute. Wow. Halbauer with a quick drive off the back screen, caught Hall there. Yep. And Hall was she a squash player in college? Am I catching that right?
She might have been. Let's see. You are on your game, Mike. She was top 10 squash. Oh, so she played at Amherst. I mean, talk about a smart girl. She's a smart girl. She has a degree in, a couple of degrees, chiropractic physician. She worked as an investment banker for a couple of years, and then she became a chiropractor. And she got her doctorate in chiropractic medicine.
Wow, that's quite a 160, 180 lead turn.
Her best result at nationals was in 2025, Mike, where she played with Maria Maturka, and they finished 11. So Rapali's got game. Her favorite shot is the backhand off the backside screen from the ad court, but she's over in the deuce court, so we won't see her favorite shot, interestingly enough.
Boy, and you can hear the raindrops. The rain continues to fall. See, and interesting, like you saw, and we talked about this in the men's game, that Allison Morgan there on your right-hand side of your screen, the men were going kind of over the top with their cut spins, basically putting the rollers away. Didn't see, I think we saw maybe 3 of them in 3 sets. We'll see if we really get, oh, wow. That's so impressive from Halbauer there.
So, I said this match, huge advantage for Halbauer and Morgan because of their experience. And with that experience, comes from playing matches like this, Mike. I have to believe they've each been out here in these conditions. And you alluded to it earlier about how attitude impacts everything. And oftentimes in the rain, we know it's the least favorable conditions for anyone, but you really just have to kind of suck it up and grind. And oftentimes the team who's willing to do that, if there's not a disparity in their overall talent, will end up prevailing. And as we saw in the men's match, it only took 1 service break. The guys both played great match. Nerney had, it was 1 break on those guys in the 3rd set, and that was the difference in the men's semis with Salazar Nunez. We'll see how this one feels like it's going to play out a little differently. Morgan, when she plays on a dry court, her overhead variety is dependent upon pace, like placement, kind of off speed, a lot of push types of shot, Mike.
Mhm.
She's not really known for hitting a lot of spins. And, she'll hit that little roller. I don't think I ever really see her hitting too much of a slash or slice. I know she can do it, but I don't see her use it as much as I think she could.
Yeah.
Because I think that keeps the ball down low, as we talked about all the time. And so you can't just go into a rain match and say, oh, hit this overhead if you don't have the shot. That's why always working on your skills and variety and practicing, under different circumstances will pay off.
And this is a great opportunity. I mean, it's not a necessity. I would say it's a great opportunity because, your cut spin here is accentuated with the wet ball and wet court. So it might be an opportunity for all 4 players to be a little more aggressive with that cut overhead or the slash overhead.
And the thing is, you talked about Halbauer, how she emerged and boom, she got to the semis of the women's nats. And from there, like I've seen her develop some variety in her serving. And so I'll be curious, how big she goes with it today. But she did look like she moved her grip over from last season, Mike, and kind of hitting a ball that has much more spin than I've seen in the past. And we know Ellie can always crush any forehand, any backhand off the deck, as solid as any woman in the game.
See, because the ball is skidding through the court where you might have less opportunity to drive off the deck. One of the things that you do gain is that drive off the back screen because the ball's hit with so much pace. And, people are trying to generate that spin. And you've already seen Allison Morgan in this point has hit 3 or 4 drives off the back screen.
Interesting. Hit an attacking kind of overhead at Ellie Halbauer's.
Yeah.
Forehand, and she missed it. But this is what I expected from Ellie. She's just going to keep firing no matter what. Oh, nice get from Baez.
Oh, did she apologize for the leg cord? Oh, there it is. Asked and answered.
There you go. That's Hall serving and Halbauer hitting the return here. I like what Baez did there, Mike. She let that play. She wasn't looking for that ball. Halbauer picked that spot, and she just let it go through because she knew she could run it down off the back screen rather than reaching and making a volley error.
Good hold.
Really good hold. Morgan got the look she wanted. Morgan's looking like she's favoring her two-handed backhand over her forehand, maybe on the return of serve, Mike. But regardless, you see Halbauer, who's committed to moving forward off of the Morgan return, and big hold for Hall and Baez right here early in the early going in this women's semifinals. Real good, solid volley. Deep towards the error.
That Hall cut across and a little protection there, protecting her partner. Boy, you can really hear the communication too between Morgan and Halbauer.
Yeah, I like that overhead Halbauer just hit there, Mike. You see that? She, had the continental grip, kind of was able to put a little extra spin on that overhead before and got the error. Mike Corian is excited to partner with the APTA because whether it's as advisors to our members or as members themselves, they're already part of the APTA community. Learn more at www.corian.com, the official wealth sponsor of the APTA.
Patty, I think, we saw Halbauer there have, 3 faults? And, we're going to see more of these uncharacteristic, unforced errors like that. Having 100%, attributing it to the weather. That the ball, is just sliding off the paddle rather than getting that bite for the spin. So, I mean, I want to give all of the players a bit of a cutting some grace to them where cut them a little slack. We will see a little bit sloppy play due to the weather.
Yeah, even in the early going 3-2, 58% of the points won. That adds up over time, and this is where I would expect a little separation, Mike, with Halbauer and Morgan with their skill set.
Statistics say that if you win 53 to 54% of the points, you're winning over 80% of your matches. So, you're right on with that assessment.
That's what Roger Federer says, right, Mike?
Yeah, that was his. I think that percentage was just over 80%. and he had won 53% of the points that he played.
Not sure what's going on. I think Dave Najedlik's up there getting his takeout order. He has to fill out the menu right now. Mike, did someone take your order already?
Not yet, no. Keep waiting, though. I've got an order. I guess the iPad is freezing up from the.
Yeah.
It need the waterproof iPod.
That's right. So here's Daniela Baez serving here. There's a festive feel in the air, Mike.
You know, you got to make the best of a really poor weather situation.
You do. And someone who made the best of it, the McKay sisters. Shout out to Sarah and Emily. These are fun women. They are awesome. I got to hang out with them at the Aronimink Grand Prix event. We got to play a little padel after they finished the tournament. And I believe this is their first semifinals they made. They went out to our tournament number 1 seeded team, Paige and Sarich. But I think that they didn't get a lot of games, but they had a lot of smiles. They're great women, great asset to the sport of platform tennis. We love having the McKays, and congrats on their appearance in the semifinals of the Steel City event. Paige and Sarge, tournament number 1 seeds, prevailed in that match, and we'll see them tomorrow. Women's finals around 9:45 against the winner of this match.
And then, as we had mentioned, Patty, the semifinals between Nunez and Salazar, McNerney and Maddox. Nunez and Salazar prevailed 6-2 in the third set there. And they'll be playing in the finals. Grigorovich and the Stoyich, who beat Garcia Nieto and Thaler 2-3. And that will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. here on the YouTube channel.
I like it. Get all the paddle in before the football games tomorrow, Mike.
Man, oh man. Just action-packed.
So came to Halbauer Morgan there. We've got a little separation, 4-2. What I do like I think Daniela Baez, I love her service motion. She didn't hold there. I like her overheads. She seems like she can generate a decent amount of spin and impact Ellie and Allison a little bit. So I feel like if she gets in the left position of the two players at the net, maybe they can take a little more advantage of what she brings to the table. And she's a tall girl, so she's got some reach. I think she can do some damage.
And she seems like she can truly get that ball to rotate. You know, she can spin the ball on the overheads if she's doing it on her serve.
Baez was born in the Canary Islands, Spain, Mike. Her mom was German. She lives in Stanford. I think we said she played college tennis at Arkansas Tech University. She was a major in digital marketing and data analytics. She actually completed her master's in AI at the University of Cumberland's in Williamsburg, Kentucky. So watch out, Mike. We got these women. We got a lot of brains out there in that court, Mike.
A lot of brain power here.
Yeah, I think Baez and Rapali, you know, they have to kind of have a little bit more of a lockdown mentality from the baseline. It's really hard, as we know, in these conditions. But I just feel like they just got to lengthen the amount of these points, Mike. If they can just keep these points going a little bit longer, I feel like that improves their chances. And obviously, they've got to hit the ball deep, because if you hit short and you have Halbauer with that wingspan, she's coming through. She's pounding. Great high, deep lob from Morgan.
Nice little cut across there from Hall. Dave Najedlik takes one up in the chair on the chin, but wasn't overhit.
How about that volley technique, Mike? Pure Chicago,
that's-
pure volley right there.
That's a master class in volley. Just set the paddle. You're not dealing the blow, you're absorbing the blow.
Mike, so when would I play a more aggressive volley?
I think it's a great question, Patty. I think the when you have an opponent, in my opinion, when you have an opponent that is trying to blitz in behind and they're trying to play, where you're sticking the volley kind of at the player and exploiting their position into the court. But for the majority of volleys, I'd say, a high majority is you got to be thinking defensively or neutral. Did I give the right answer? Was that the right answer from the
Mike,
commissioner?
all your answers are always passing grades.
The other one to mention too is the drop volley is a very offensive shot when it's hit at the right time.
Good point. Oh, nice.
Wow, nice blitz there from Hall.
I mean, another break. That's impressive, and I like. I feel like Hall and Baez, they're fighting here, Mike. I love their spirit that they're out here. They know they're underdogs in this match big time. They know the rain is their friend, actually, in this situation, and they're playing a fairly solid match. And this is where I want to see. I want to see if we can see Baez hit some more of those overheads, because I feel like her overhead can impact Halbauer here in this two court big time. If she can hit it, kind of from straight ahead of her from this where she is on the court now, Mike, and get that ball to come in skidding and going away from Ellie toward that side screen. I'll look for that, see if she can do that. I think I'd go after Halbauer more in the screens than Allison Morgan personally. What do you think about that, Mike?
Well, you're taking on a little bit more risk if you don't hit the ball to the screen. Ellie's going to make him pay a lot more than Allison will. But on the other hand, the reward, you may gain some more not free points, but gain an error. Oh, that was crisp.
Solid return of serve from Morgan. She clearly was avoiding her forehand again, took that two-handed backhand up the middle. And Hall had to kind of come in up the middle. She wasn't really looking for the right lane there to defend that drive from Morgan, I don't think. Yeah, you can hear Morgan. Constant talking on the baseline. I like this position for Hall and Baez with Baez over on that side where we can take advantage, some of those overheads. But again, I might even just slash it right at Halbauer in that two court. Hey, or hit a winner roller to Morgan in the ad court, get the nick. So, Mike, I think she's the right gal to be hitting the overheads for the team.
I agree. That seems to got a number of different overheads that you can hit. But you've got to watch out for that overhead to where she is going back, where Baez is going back and then hitting in front of herself, going straight back down the line, because you saw how exposed she was. And it doesn't allow Baez to protect and basically kind of play the role as the drive stopper when the ball isn't in front of her.
Wow.
Very good drive there from Allison Morgan.
What made that well, I'm just going to say that was a sick shot that Morgan did because she held her paddle back. She totally suckered those guys into thinking she was going to throw up a lob and drove the ball at the last second. She kind of held that beautifully with on these conditions. That's pretty cool. Mike Baez, I feel like she's got the overhead variety, and looks like she's about 6 inches taller than Hall. That's a good reason to put that person hitting more of your overheads for your team, and not letting the point play out, calling a switch just like a lefty-righty team would call a switch to get their forehand overheads in the middle. I think that's what Baez and Hall need to do. Women's play, 2 out of 3 sets, regular scoring.
Patty, do you think the women's game will ever go to sudden big points?
Ever? No.
No. Okay.
But ever's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
I would be shocked if in the next 3 years they went to no ad scoring. I don't know why I say that, but I would just be shocked. Gigantic hold right there. 4-all first set, Mike. Who would have thunk it? And Mike, when we said earlier, here's Ellie Halbauer serving, the rain is such an equalizer. And I said something like, the rain's worth about two more games to the team that's the underdog in every set. And you said maybe more.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see her take a little something off, go a little flatter on that serve.
Yeah, and you can't afford a fault. And 4-all, Halbauer's just going to put that in there. She's confident of her abilities to volley any ball Rapali Hall might hit.
Whoa.
Oh, boy. Whoopsie. Anybody need a field goal kicker?
Must have been the sun.
That's right. 4-all, 30-all. That's Halbauer serving. That's Hall out of that deuce court. And there's Baez out of that ad court. Yeah. Good little down up overhead. Really a short lob. Baez she needed some hang time there. She needed to get off the ground. And Mike, when should you block that ball heading into your corner? What's a good time to block it? Coach Mike?
I think if you're trying to protect, from the ball either hitting the nick where it hits like dead into the corner, or if you feel like that ball isn't going to be coming out, that giving you an opportunity to play it. It's hard to do in weather like this because the ball does move through the court after the bounce so much quicker. It slides.
All right, Daniela Baez serving. 4-5 down, first set. Great adjustment from Ellie to come up, just put that ball in play off the left court serve.
That was pretty quick with less than ideal court conditions.
Yeah, and Rapali let that ball drop a little bit, Mike. She got a little bit more spin on that overhead. Got the error out of Morgan. I didn't think Morgan ever missed. Okay, Ellie knows what that feels like. I love that. Baez went big on that serve. That showed a lot of nerve.
I really like her motion. I mean, that's about as technically sound.
Yep.
And Patty, why would you, you see different service styles in the women's game more so than in the men's, where, some women are more just, they're happy with just kind of getting the ball in relatively flat, when, others are like Baez hitting that big kicker. What's the thinking there?
Well, I think she's hitting the big one because she can, Mike.
Right.
She clearly has high-level skills. And that, like I said, you've got to have high-level skills to pull out some of these serves and be able to execute them on the big stage here. But I think that the importance on the serve is really the depth and, maybe moving it around a little bit. So I think that, because that's a priority on the women's side a little bit more, you see all the varieties of swing speeds, and some of them not that great, but highly effective, if that makes sense. Oh, that was the ball that I want her to hit all day, but just take it right straight ahead at Halbauer in that deuce
Yeah.
court, not trying to go around her.
And trying to go to the side screen there.
Yeah, so we got 2 set points here for Halbauer Morgan in the first set. Women's semifinals from Pittsburgh. Hall was brave to stand there. I would either move forward or run out of town.
Okay, there's the game and first set. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming brought to you by Streambox Labs and match statistics provided by Court Director.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Mike Raleigh, here with Patty Hogan at the Fox Chapel Racket Club with this semifinal round match between Halbauer and Morgan versus Baez and Hall. Boy, you see those stats come up. It was 56% of points to Halbauer and Morgan.
That's all you need to win the set, Mike, as you
Yeah,
reference the great Roger Federer.
You know, and Nadal, I had a similar score kind of percentage at his run at the French Open, which I think is even more impressive. He lost one match in 10 years, and he won just 53% of the points that he played.
That's amazing.
Nice little touch there from Morgan.
All right, so Coach Mike, first set, really proud of Baez and Hall. They are fighting out here.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have to do? If you could get in their earbud with an earbud right now, what would you tell them?
I would say, you know, again, like a similar, these, what I'd call unforced errors in the backcourt, where I think those are the big ones. If they had cleaned those up, we had a missed overhead late in that first set from Baez. You know, she went a little big, kind of trying to get it around behind Halbauer. And then a couple backcourt kind of errors that, you know, weren't so much attributed to the weather or the bounce. So I use the phrase a lot when I teach, tighten up the play. So it's just kind of cinch. They're playing well. Just a few less unforced errors would be huge. Because as we all know, this game isn't about the winners. It's the errors that matter.
I still think I would tell them as a net team, Baez and Hall, switch.
Yeah.
Get Baez on the other side. Because I feel like they're sort of waiting and then reacting. I don't feel like they could control the net, I think, a little bit more. And from what I've seen with Baez's overhead variety, she hit that roller nick at Morgan. She's hit cutters. I would like to see them use more of the slash slice type of overheads and go right into the bodies of Morgan and Halbauer and just make them kind of get down really low or try to have to get it out of the way to get their paddle on the ball. versus, going to open spaces in their screens. They got Halbauer earlier on that, but I'd like to see him go really low to Ellie, not high, but this is the danger. You do not hit that ball deep and you're dead. She is just machine-like with her efficiency, Mike. Mike, I think of like Lisa Lalich hitting her two-handed backhand, forehand. Ellie, maybe potentially like the most amount of firepower that, you see Elliott, she can pull two-handed backhand, forehand, no matter what, but you could just hear the sound the ball makes coming off of Halbauer's paddle. It's unique.
Yeah, that's a big ball.
Whoopsie. So that ball was headed toward that nick, and maybe Hall had to probably head to the side screen. If you don't know, go to that side screen, right, Mike?
And ask for help. Yep.
Ask for help. Pray that help's following you. Halbauer went for that shot that we're talking about, and you can see she's got to let that ball probably drop a little bit more, Mike, and get to a little bit nearer to her, would you say, on that overhead?
She was a little late, too, with her preparation. She's got to set the hands and then be patient and let the ball fall into that lower strike zone.
Yeah, Mike, you pointed that out earlier in that guys' match day about the early overhead preparation that you see. And when a player that you're playing against does that, it kind of you're now in a guessing game as the guy on the baseline because you're not sure where that ball's going to be hit. Where if you don't do that prep, oftentimes players have an easier time reading that motion of someone hitting the overhead, and then the likelihood of where it's going to go is a bit more predictable.
Yeah, and the other thing, from the same prep, they can hit.
Oh, boy.
Oh, she almost made the volley.
That would have been the shot of the year.
Wow, that would have been an amazing shot. Didn't that go off her paddle?
Oh, that would have been the greatest. All right, but you can hear it. Like, these guys are having a great time out there. I love listening to the banter out there. But there's a hot streak. Halbauer, Morgan, Halbauer, that separation began there, the end of that first set. And as you can see, they won 6 of the last 7 points. And they are truly on a hot streak.
Yeah, and you notice, too, that Halbauer has not missed. She, in the first set, had missed a couple of those returns. She's kind of found her range, and that doesn't bode well for Baez and Hall.
How come?
And she's stepping in confidently, ripping that thing.
How come Halbauer's getting so many two-handed backhands? If you're going to coach Baez and Hall right now, what are you telling them, Mike?
Boy, I would keep the ball out of that middle of the court because that's going right into Halbauer's, right into the hammer.
I would say make Morgan beat you out of that ad court. Go after her.
Yeah.
Just totally take Halbauer out of this match. And Morgan's playing a rock-solid match. Nothing against her, but Halbauer is just teeing off all day here. All right, so that's Ellie Halbauer about to serve. I think they're going to change balls. That umpire, Dave Nijedlik, he got a haircut yesterday. It looks really good, Mike, doesn't it?
Oh, man, he's a handsome man.
No, I saw him
Even
earlier.
in the rain.
I saw him without the hat.
Even in the rain.
So, Mike, we saw a little commercial earlier. The New Jersey Nationals, hosted by Canubert Country Club this year, first weekend in March. Rob Scanoni, Blake Anderson, and a whole group of amazing volunteers. Leslie Stitska, Pam Randazzo, Diane Brown. There's so many of them, I don't even know. If I didn't say your name, tell me. Text me. I'll shout it out. Doing a great job got a great setup at Canoe for it. 2 temporary courts coming in, Mike. It's going to be a heck of a weekend. The weekend before that will be the Junior Nationals hosted by the Canoe Country Club. And then March is so action-packed. End of February, Mike Team Nationals hosted by Canoe. So I just want to give a gigantic shout-out to Canoe because in New Jersey, Canoe along with Indian Trail for Team Nationals, are phenomenal host clubs for the events. Players love going to those clubs. And Canoe staff, the members welcome it and do just a phenomenal job. I've had the opportunity to work a lot of events out of Canoe and their staff and help second to none.
Well, Patty, I should toot your horn. Nobody works harder. And I mean, you are the kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, but Team Nationals. You're kind of the co-director there for the event in Jersey. You do the Junior Nationals. That's
I help Greg Morgan.
Yeah, but you help, but you do a lot of the heavy lifting too. So
hey, I enjoy doing it, Mike. It's the reward is seeing how the game has grown, and that's why you and I are both signed on and do a lot of volunteering, helping the APTA out because we really thoroughly love to watch this sport flourish with players of all ages, all abilities and all ages, and that's why the game is bursting at the seams. That was a big serve from Halbauer there, Mike. She went for a big in the middle.
Might have been a little frustration on the missed roller. He got a little cute with it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Boy, do you notice on the last 3 overheads that Halbauer's hit into that ad side? She hit different pace on all 3. And that, I mean, if you're paying attention at home, that just the change of pace. You hit the same overhead with a different speed. You now have a totally different overhead.
Yep, that's a great point, Mike. Nice shot from Hall coming out of that corner there. Got a little let cord. Morgan, it's the only shot Morgan can't come up with. Oh, baby.
Whoa.
Oh, baby. Did she forget who she was serving to, Mike? and she, Mike, I love the banter, and they're all kind of laughing. And, the rain does make some strange things happen. It messes with you physically, mentally. And she lost that one, almost picked off Hall. Mike, if that ball, Coach Mike, if that ball had hit Hall on the fly, whose point would it have been?
That was Halbauer's. Yeah, that would have been. The ball was still alive. It was not dead until it touches something out of bounds. Oh.
All right. Service winner. All right. So Baez and Hall on the boards here, down 4-1, 15 all. We've seen stranger things happen. Morgan and Halbauer do seem in control here. Baez and Hall. Good. I like this. Taking a tiny bit of time. And you want to see them really dig in deep here. See if they can't come up with, another game. And that's got to be your mindset. A point at a time and a game at a time. That's it.
The tough ask there with a fadeaway rolling overhead as you're falling out towards the door.
Look at Halbauer with that 2-handed backhand that just relentless. She's just constant pressure. Allison Morgan serving, trying to finish off this match. Berth in the finals for Halbauer. Morgan possibly. Mike, 2 minutes to go in the NFL. LA up 20. Oh, down to Carolina. Carolina's up at top, 31-27.
Oh boy. $15 love here. Allison Morgan serving for a spot in the finals. Good drive from Baez. She's not going away.
Mike, I got to break it to you. I'm picking the Packers over your Bears tonight.
Are you? Okay.
You know, because the Gillette family, all-time Green Bay Packer fans, and thinking about Big. And he is a longtime Packer fan. Great guy. Dad, all of those Gillette sisters. So I'm going Packers for them
Okay.
tonight, Mike. Sorry. Mike, you ever see Allison Morgan get ruffled in like a match? I don't
No.
think.
No. Emphatically no.
Yeah. You know, Halbauer's machine-like with her two-handed backhand. Morgan is machine-like with her brain. I mean, she is the ultimate grinder competitor. She plays every single point. Real good, positive attitude at all times. You can see she moves the feet, her feet. She's not hitting the ball. She's still involved in the play.
You know,
Right
it's
here,
funny,
she's the
Patty.
backup.
Yeah. Her she and Adams Club is just maybe a mile at best from my club, and I've seen her in the middle of the day, like on a hot day, and I'm assuming she's teaching in the morning, and then she gets a break. I've actually seen her on a jog, and and here I am trying to take a nap, but she's as fit as a fiddle and brings that competitive fire to the courts, but always with a smile, and
Yeah, so you didn't cross. Your pass didn't cross on the track, literally, Mike, or on the road, Mike.
I was striving to get a cheeseburger or something, and she's
Right.
getting a couple mile run in.
You had the AC on about 55 in your car.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, Morgan and Halbauer are just so good from the baseline. They're hitting good shots, but they don't have enough, like consecutive shot making. A bit, it doesn't look like they can hit the shot, like shot after shot after shot, that can break them down. I don't see that they stick with a particular play and stay on someone and then try to take them out. So we're back to deuce. Allison Morgan trying to close it out on her serve for a berth in the finals tomorrow against Page and Sarch. Match point number 1. So it's interesting, Mike. Halbauer moved in, and when I asked you earlier about when do you hit an aggressive volley, like that was a time, but you got to keep your paddle head above your hands. Ellie's paddle was pretty low, and that's why that ball, bombed long on her off her paddle.
Yeah, and you'd also notice her feet she wasn't stable.
No.
She was a little kind of leaned into that and lunged at it.
Yeah.
That was a nice, better, stable volley there.
All right. Second match point, Halbauer Morgan. Smooth return to serve from Baez out of that ad court. Nice little topspin shot up the middle. Forced the volley error from Morgan. A rare event. A Morgan miss. Really good deep volley from Baez following that really good lob in.
I'll be interested to see here, Patty, if Morgan and Halbauer go into a different formation, service formation. Just, they've lost 2 points in a row. The Baez's, return +1 maybe.
Great call, Coach Mike.
Oh, look at this.
It's like they're listening to you. Saw that paddle prep from Halbauer and that overhead. Like we said earlier, when you said it early, you could see she kind of hit a little bit of a roller there. Not the volley error, back to deuce. Even that ball, that overhead from Morgan, I think it just took a little skid there. Kind of forced the error from Hall.
Game, set, and match there, Patty.
Mike.
Take a peek at these match stats brought to you by Court Director. 58% of the points.
Hey, you hold serve all the time, Mike. You win the set, don't you?
That is pretty sure. Well, that's a wrap for today. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the men's final starting at 9 a.m. between Nunez Salazar versus our number 2 seed, Grigorovich and Ostojic. And the women's final starting at 9:45 between Halbauer and Morgan. And Patty, I don't have it in front of me.
Taya Page and Mila Saric.
Yeah.
Page and Saric.
Sorry, it blanked
No
off
worries.
my screen there. But Patty, real treat for calling with you, and we hope to see you, everybody, tomorrow morning.
Go Packers. Night, Mike.
Let's go Bears.